is Marc, Katz, dating coach for smart, strong, successful women and your personal trainer for love. Welcome back to the Love You podcast, where you're going to learn everything you need to know about dating, relationships, sex, and men from a man's point of view. And today, in a timely fashion, we are talking about what you should expect on Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and the holiday in and of itself, if you step back from it, in my perspective, has three different meanings, and they depend upon your relationship status and, in general, your gender. So if you're not in a relationship, Valentine's Day is merely an unfortunate reminder that you're not in a relationship. The best thing you could do is to just tune it out, right? There's no reason to worry about Valentine's Day if there's no one to celebrate. If you're a woman in a relationship, it is a chance for you to see how much your boyfriend listens to you, loves you, and wants to step up for you. I don't really mean that. And if you're a man in a relationship, it's a Hallmark holiday, a stupid shit test, and an absurd amount of pressure to please, only to know that you're bound to fail no matter what. I do believe that. So I know I'm dealing with gender stereotypes, and I know that gender stereotypes are not always true. I get it. But I will tell you, I cannot remember, I've been with my wife for 10 years, I can't remember a single thing my wife has ever given me on Valentine's Day or our anniversary. I do know that it's my responsibility to come up with something creative, thoughtful, personal, and generous. Now, thankfully, I was raised by a mom who made a big deal about this stuff. In my household, I got yelled at, I like this story, I got yelled at on my college graduation day in my cap and gown because I failed to give my mom a Mother's Day card, because our family was always card, call, gift. I didn't give my mom a card on the day I was wearing a cap and gown, and she yelled at me. So I've been well trained on how to make a big deal about holidays. But what about men who were not raised this way? Namely, most men. Really, what should you expect from Valentine's Day if you're a woman? Well, one of the secrets to contentment in life is setting yourself realistic expectations. So if you're a woman who truly believes that Valentine's Day is a chance for you to see how much your boyfriend listens, loves you, and wants to step up for you, the first thing you should do is probably get rid of that belief, right? If you insist on holding on to that belief, you will only discover one thing. Virtually every man you meet will fall short of your expectations. It would be like a man expecting you to give him a Valentine's Day where he spends the entire day with his friends, then he comes home for a 3-course home-cooked meal and gets a lap dance and a blowjob. And if you fail to do all of those things, he gets angry at you for not considering his needs. Fact is, he's lucky if he gets any one of those things, right? And your failure to deliver on his wildest fantasies is not a reflection of how much you love him or appreciate him. So I say this as a guy who is sensitive. I coach women for a living, right? I'm generous. I have the means to be generous. I understand women and listen to women like few men. I have a really cool wife who puts no pressure on me or expects expensive baubles on these Hallmark holidays, right? And still, caught up in the day-to-day of work, clients, kids, bills, social plans, other obligations, I generally find myself scrambling at the last minute to put together something, either a nice dinner or a piece of jewelry or both, just to acknowledge how much my wife means to me, right? And again, I'm the one who's supposed to be good at this, and I don't always do a great job. So does that mean you should expect the same thing? Well, not necessarily, right? Because we could always play the game that so-and-so's husband is home at 5. Why aren't you? So-and-so's boyfriend wants to have sex 3 times a week. Why don't you? So-and-so's boyfriend took her to Italy. Why don't you? Those are unfair comparisons. It's taking the most generous of male behavior, suggesting it should be standard fare, and diminishing whatever flaws come with that man. So let's flip it around for a second. Instead of getting angry that he doesn't think as much of this holiday as you do, put yourself inside his head and attempt to understand him. That's what we do. We just try to understand men, not make them wrong, not make them feel stupid for just being raised differently or thinking differently. Just understand. Do men make a big deal about birthdays and holidays in general? No. Do men make sure to come home with a thoughtful gift? Come to someone's house with a thoughtful gift every time they go to someone's house? No. Do men instinctively understand that women often equate Valentine's Day as a test to measure love? No. Do men get taught by their fathers that Valentine's Day is very important? No. Do men expect you to do big, elaborate things for them on holidays? No. We, in general, are mostly content in the relationship on a day-to-day basis if you make us feel accepted, appreciated, and admired, right, we're happy. And everything else beyond that is gravy. So instead of emotionally setting yourself up for disappointment, I would encourage you to do these things right now. Think about what you're going to do for him on Valentine's Day and practice the enthusiasm that you're going to offer him for whatever he does for you on Valentine's Day. Right? And it might sound like I'm making a whole litany of excuses for men. I'm not. I'm just telling you what you've already seen. If his poor Valentine's Day performance undermines your entire relationship, right? It's that bad that you can't handle it, then find a man who makes a bigger deal about it. Just know this, a man could be a great guy and weak on Valentine's Day planning, and a guy could be a superstar holiday performer who blows it out and be really inconsiderate to you on a day-to-day basis. Right? Both of those things are true. So with that said, I want to take a couple callers who are also deliberating with how to apply the concept of dating men who may or may not be great around Valentine's Day. Our first caller is Christy. Hello, Christy.
Hi.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
How can I be of service to you today?
Well, I wanted to say that I've been tuning into you for about the last 3 months, and everything you said I wish I would have known a long time ago, because it's really helpful. Just little
I appreciate
things
that.
there.
Thank you.
I think it's just small shifts, that help. But Valentine's Day, I don't have any plans. I don't have a boyfriend right now. So I think I don't really have any expectations on holidays. I'm not a big holiday fan, or, just getting sad about not having a boyfriend. I think self-love is really good. Just loving yourself no matter where you're at, and then I'm thankful I'm not in a toxic relationship. I've been in those, and it's much better to be alone than, but I just think Valentine's Day, like every other day, what you're saying, I understand guys, and it doesn't make sense to put all this expectation on one day, and you can celebrate any day. And love should be every day, not just, one day you're, so.
Agreed. So do you want to be a dating coach, Christy, or do you have a question? Because I agree with everything you've said, but I'd love to offer some advice.
Yeah, some advice. My main advice is just I get to about 4 dates with guys, and then they just kind of ghost, and I think it's going really well. And then I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and it doesn't go anywhere, and I really want something long-term with the right person and to have an amazing relationship, and I haven't been able to go very far. Okay.
So I appreciate the question. It's not a Valentine's Day question, and that's mostly what we're here for. But the thing I could probably best recommend to you, if you say guys disappear after 4 dates, is I have a book called Why He Disappeared, that if you don't have it, does a pretty good job of explaining why men disappear from a first date, from courtship, and from a relationship. And it's inexpensive. You could read the whole thing in 2 hours. There's a bunch of bonuses that come with it. And instead of spending hours and hours trying to dig deep and psychoanalyze you on a podcast, the first thing you could do is read this stuff and say, oh my God, I do some of this stuff. That at least explains how I got here. And then I have all this other material for how you can move forward past that. But it will do a good job of explaining if you had any role. Because sometimes you've done nothing wrong. It's just you chose the wrong guy. You know what I mean? It's not always your fault. But if there is something that you could look at from the past and say, I'd do it differently if it were to come up again, Why He Disappeared has it. So I don't do this podcast as a sales pitch. But again, this is a Valentine's Day podcast, and you're asking a very personal, important question that can't really be summed up in the context that we have here today,
That's good. And just knowing that that's possible, because I don't think my goal is to find that lasting partner and celebrate that every day, and Valentine's Day too, of course.
Yeah, listen, again, Valentine's Day might just be the leaping off point for looking at yourself and saying, hey, it's another Valentine's Day alone. Better to be alone than to be in a toxic relationship. But I do know there's more to celebrate. I know other people who have this, why does it seem so elusive to me? And it's something that's achievable, but it has to be done actively. That's my take as a dating coach. I can only see 1/4 of your face now. You have to be proactive in seeking solutions to what's gone wrong in the past instead of, well, if the right guy comes into my life, then, so be it. In the meantime, I'm just going to be happy with myself. And that's a very passive way to approach things. And no one would approach job hunting that way. I got laid off from my last job, so I'm a quality person. If they want me, they'll find me on LinkedIn or Monster.com. They'll find me. Dating is a proactive thing that you do, like going to the gym. And the more you can educate yourself and take responsibility for what you can take responsibility for, and let go of all the things that aren't your fault, which is jerky guys, not your fault, right? Just, that's not you. The more you can cleanse yourself of that and wean yourself off of making poor decisions with men, the more likely we are to find ourselves 1 year from now on the phone again, where you're telling me about your boyfriend.
Yep.
So can we give that a shot? Tell me about your boyfriend in 1 year?
I can do that.
All right. Thank you so much, Christy. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Evan. Thank you.
My pleasure. Our next caller is Janine. Hello, Janine.
Hey, Evan. How are you?
Nice to see you. I'm great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Have you listened to the podcast long?
I have listened to the podcast long. Not quite all 45 or 46 episodes that you, I think, have now, but I've listened to a lot of your podcasts.
I love putting this free stuff out in the world, and I hope it makes a small difference when you get an opportunity. I know it's a lot of information to digest.
Yes, but it's great information, and there's so much for so many people. It doesn't matter where you are in life, and that's what I love about what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've followed you for so long, and I've also done your Love You program. So I am one of your graduates.
Yay. Thank you. Thanks for the endorsement. But enough about me. Seriously, what could I do for you?
Okay. Well, I have been dating somebody for a total of 8 months. We've been boyfriend and girlfriend for about 6 months. He is a very simple guy. He does not really like to receive gifts. He has told me that. So we've been through Thanksgiving and Christmas. We haven't celebrated any birthdays. So Valentine's Day is obviously coming up, and I'm trying to figure out what I can either do or give him that will I don't want it to be awkward, and I don't want it to be too much. I don't want it to be too little. I don't really personally care too much about Valentine's Day, but it is like this thing that people have to sort of deal with, right? And I'm just not sure what the best approach is.
Sure.
So that's kind of my question. I don't know if I asked it, but.
No, I got it. I got it in there. Well, congratulations on your relationship. That's good. And I'm going to go under the assumption of a couple things. Number one, your boyfriend loves you. Fair?
Yeah. Yes.
Number two, he wants to make you happy.
Yes.
Number three, you could talk to him and you can communicate with him, because that's what happens in healthy relationships. People could share information and here's how I'm feeling. And
yes.
Right? So to me, that this is, Occam's razor. It's the shortest distance between 2 points. What's the easiest way to know how to navigate this thing with your boyfriend? Is it to call the dating coach who doesn't know either of you? All right. It's actually to say, here's what I'm thinking. This is our first Valentine's Day together. I know you're a simple guy who doesn't like to make a big deal about things. I don't know if you feel an obligation to do this or not do this. I kind of want to get you something because I want to show you I appreciate you. In the same breath, I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable and feel obliged to have to jump through hoops for me. How do you suggest we navigate this? And it's just a conversation between two adults about how they're going to handle something with no real agenda. You're not trying to nudge him into either getting you a gift or accepting a gift, or just, what should we do? And you have to be prepared that if you have an idea in your head about what you want to happen, it may go unfulfilled. You might say, I kind of like to do something this year. And he might be like, okay, what do you want? All right. Not the enthusiasm you want to hear from your boyfriend. Right. And that goes back to what I said earlier. If you decide that his indifference towards these things as a simple man is enough of a deal breaker to break up with him, then go find another guy who makes a big deal about holidays, who's more demonstrative in his gift giving, right? And you're familiar with the 5 love languages. If you went through Love You, there's acts of service, quality time, touch, words of affirmation, and gifts, right?
Yes.
This is kind of a gifts holiday.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And I mean, maybe you could make him take the 5 love languages quiz right off the website, take him into Love You and takes him to the quiz and find out his love language, right? And you might discover together as sort of a fun experiment, right? In Love You on that quiz, oh, his love language is X. That is what I will give to you for holidays, right? You need me to write you a poem about how great you are because you're a words of affirmation guy. You want me to make you a nice candlelight dinner and choose a movie that you want to watch on Netflix. Like, his needs might be really simple. And the best thing anyone could do as a partner is give the partner what they want, right? So you find out, and this is the powerful part, you find out what he wants, right? And say, here's what I'm going to give to you. What does it make him want to do?
Okay.
What? No,
great.
That was a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You find out what he wants. Through his love languages, he is a quality time acts of service, right? He wants to spend time with you, and he likes when you do stuff for him. So you say, I'm going to cook you dinner, right? Your favorite dinner, and we're going to choose a movie that you want to watch on Netflix, regardless of whether I want to watch it. And then we're going to go upstairs, right? And that's what I'm doing for you on Valentine's Day. When you find out what he wants and give it to him, what does it make him want to do?
Oh, he will want to give me.
Yes. And you just have to know what you want.
Exactly.
You have to know your love language, right? I don't know if you know, but so you figure out his, you give it to him, and by basic reciprocity and karma, by being a better girlfriend and giving him what he wants, he doesn't want you to buy him a car. He just wants you to be nice to him. Right? So by giving him what he wants, you end up getting what you want. And that's sort of the magic of relationships. Valentine's Day is just a perfect example of where we see this take place. But this is the kind of thing one can do every day. Little tiny acts.
It is.
Yeah. And again, if you're in a good relationship, you probably already get it instinctively. I'm trying to make you a little more conscious of that mechanism of finding out what someone wants and giving it to them. Right. And in turn, realizing you get even a better boyfriend in return because he feels like he hit the jackpot.
Right. Well, you touched on something that was really interesting too, because we have both taken the love languages quiz. So we know what our love languages are and how we want to get it and also how we give it, because that can be sometimes a little bit different from what I understand.
Yes.
But so gifts for us are both the last thing on our list, on our list. So I think that's maybe why approaching Valentine's Day for me personally.
So it doesn't matter if everybody else is giving chocolates and flowers and stuff. It's what works for you guys as a couple. And that's something you guys discuss as a couple. So who cares what anybody else does? What do you want? Right. And it's simple. You go directly to him. Right. It's not drama. It's not a big thing. You don't have any sort of agenda about what you want to see happen. Right. It is Valentine's Day. We've never gone through this before. You're not big on holidays. How do you want me to approach this thing? Right.
Okay.
I've got an idea. What do you think about this? I know you. What do you think about this? I'll be like, yeah, that sounds great. Right. And hopefully he understands that it would be nice for him to come up with something in return. Hopefully he does. But again,
hopefully he does.
But I'm in your shoes. Every year I come up with something to do. I never really get anything in return. Right. That's the way it works. And it makes me happy to do stuff for my wife. And I'm the breadwinner. She's a stay-at-home mom. So I don't expect her to do much for me beyond, being a great wife. So it's just it's an arbitrary day to show appreciation. And if you agree to eschew all tradition, you can. No one's judging you. So whatever works for you guys as a couple.
That's a great reminder, Evan. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I enjoyed this, and I'm really happy for you and proud of you.
Thank you so much. It really is all thanks to you and your program. So thank you.
Thank you. Well, hopefully I'll see you again soon. Get a wedding announcement or something like that.
Yes, I hope so. And if it's not this guy, you will get one from another one. So
I have no doubt. Thank you, Janine.
thanks, Evan.
Oh, that was fun. Heartwarming. I want to thank you for joining me here in the Love You podcast. My name is Marc Katz. So if you enjoyed this coaching, you want to be a future guest on the Love You podcast, just go to www.evanmarckatz.com/podcast to see upcoming topics and ask questions. Finally, don't forget to subscribe on iTunes or YouTube, and follow me on both Facebook and Twitter. Best way, I give away the most free advice on www.evanmarckatz.com. So give me your name and email address. I will help you get the love you deserve. See you again next week on the Love You podcast.